Face front, fellow Asgardians of the galaxy. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And welcome to our Thor Love and Thunder teaser trailer shot by shot breakdown. Hail Taika!
Hail.
All right. So Dragon, you know what? I gotta say, I don't like I very much really like this trailer. I think great song choice, very, very striking imagery that we'll get to. I think the whole Thor Ragnarok like heavy metal album cover motif is really coming up strong here. I will say though, not to start this out on a skeptical note, but it is interesting that like people have already been kind of like wondering, like, since this is only a couple months away, like this is maybe one of the shortest windows between like us getting a teaser and the movie actually coming out. And then the teaser trailer comes out, and Dragon, it's only a minute and a half. So I don't know. I gotta tell you, like, I am a little bit like, is there something going on behind the scenes here? Like that's literally the only thing that I'm worried about, because I mean, as far as like the imagery goes in this trailer, I'm hooked. I'm sold. Like, I think this looks fantastic, and this is the very first fourquel, if you will, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think that that Thor is a really good character to do it with, given all the mythology, given the fact that he's pretty much a Guardians of the Galaxy character at this point. So yeah, I'm excited. But Dragon, what do you think of the trailer? And just is the fact that it's only 90 seconds raising any sort of red flags for you, out of curiosity?
Well, I'll tell you what's funny. The fact that because all these dates keep getting switched and flipped and everything this year on both sides of the studios, between the Marvel and the DC stuff. Well,
to be fair, Warner Brothers is a lot more to worry about.
I know, that's my point.
Warner's just drew the bad hand when it came to actors this year.
My point is just the fact that things keep shifting the way that they do. I'm kind of forgetting. Oh my God, Thor's coming in July. That's really soon. Comparatively, you've got Strange coming out top of May, and then July. Oh my God, there's Thor. And now, what I really am worried about, less for Thor, more for, oh God, I'm convinced. I'll bet all of King Midas's soul that Black Panther will not come out.
That's what you keep saying. Yeah,
I'm telling you, it can't. I'll be shocked if it comes out without a delay of some variety. I'm banking on it being moved.
Is that the only other one besides?
Yeah.
Strange and Thor that's scheduled? Yeah.
Those are the remaining. They're not getting to all the Disney Plus shows. That is like She-Hulk's up in the air right now. I don't know what they're planning to do.
Right. Miss Marvel, I'm sure, is coming because
Miss Marvel got. I forget where we ended up with Miss Marvel. I forget if that's still slated for this year.
Yeah, it's pretty up in the air. But anyways,
all I know is it's coming before She-Hulk. Any which way you slice it, I know that much. Which kind of bums me out because all the exciting stuff She-Hulk and beyond. That's the thing. Like She-Hulk and then the Echo shows, all the Daredevil stuff.
It really does seem like She-Hulk is kind of like another sort of like multiverse of madness style like pillar.
Because She-Hulk is always
a lot from this.
That's the coolest thing. She is the Daredevil equivalent of the superheroes, in which she's always the go-to lawyer. That was the wonderful thing about Daredevil. He runs into everybody as a lawyer, and so can She-Hulk.
Sorry, Jimmy, I got another lawyer now.
Jennifer Walters would love Mike Ehrmantraut.
Oh my God! Okay, just imagine like Jennifer Walters is like Mike Ehrmantraut's like driver or something, and they form like a Green Book style like feel good friendship. All right. Anyways,
so the trailer.
I'm really hyped for Saul tonight.
Oh, you have no idea, folks. I am so.
It's been what, like 2 years in the making.
I mean, I rewatched the whole 5th season again, like last week, and
anyways, this isn't a Saul
podcast. The whole series.
This will be Saul podcast. This is Saul week, but tonight we're talking Marvel. Anyways,
okay. So the trailer itself, it looks like a promising character study for Thor. I mean, best case scenario, what we have here, based on this trailer, is I think it's going to sum up the passing of the torch element of Phase 4 that we've been kind of getting in with the Disney Plus side of things, but this is going to be kind of a theatrical kind of version of that, which really, we're seeing it from a pillar character of the Avengers, with Thor, and then answering the question, how does the old guard react to essentially, passing the torch, or not essentially being replaced, but just kind of like, passing the mantle on, and kind of leads to an identity crisis of sorts. That's kind of what this story seems to be about, at least the best case scenario, what this could be, which is, again, think about this has been Thor's arc in the greater MCU, which I have really liked, even, especially in, the Infinity Saga of it all, where, it's Thor's been, I love Thor doing the self-reflection thing and doing the growth. And admittedly, Endgame did, went a little broader with it, but and a little broad and comedic with it, with with the Endgame versus the Infinity War side of it. But still, I do like that direction with the character. And that, Infinity War teed it up so perfectly that how old I am, how many people I've lost, that whole thing, the introspective Thor. And like that guy, all that stress in that guy's life, he would have a breakdown like he did have in Endgame. And now we're kind of seeing, basically, this movie would be Thor's recovery. This is going to be where we leave Thor ultimately, which I find really interesting. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. This is kind of
almost like the Toy Story 4 of the MCU, dare I say?
Essentially, yes. And that's again, it's kind of like Toy Story 4 and have maybe a bit of a rom-com element to it. With kind of the romance underneath. We'll see. But,
all right, we have Beowulf in the comments who just pointed out, or Chaos Cast. Technically, I know it's you, Beowulf.
How do you know it's Beowulf?
Because of his avatar.
Okay.
He says, "Well, technically, Endgame is a fourquel."
Yeah, that's
you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's like I'm thinking solo movies, but yeah, technically, Endgame was a fourquel.
I mean, if you're gonna have 4 movies, that's the way you do 4 movies, man. Yeah.
And then we have Romello Malone. Haven't seen you in a minute, buddy. Woo. Nice to see you.
Welcome.
Says the beginning of Thor: Love and Thunder trailer with the montage of Thor growing up reminded me of Simba growing up to adulthood in The Lion King. Yeah, I really love that brief little shot. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, we use trees instead of logs, but we do it.
All right. Anything else before we get to the trailer itself, Dragon?
I mean, again, the runtime thing doesn't bother me. What really interests me is the fact that, hey, we're not showing the bad guy yet. Because honestly, I'm really hyped for a bad guy in this movie, because he looks really, he has a really cool, creepy design in the comic, which I'm really hoping they kind of adapt as much as they can here.
Who's played the bad guy in this one?
Christian Bale.
Oh God, that's right. Oh yeah, man,
he's playing Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, it's still just surprising to me. It's still surreal that Christian Bale, like, he is one of the last people that I would expect to sign up for an MCU movie. So, all right.
Well, it's like a Shakespearean role, one could look at it as, which he would probably lend himself really
well to play. Sure. All right, we got Atomic Beast. He says, "Hi guys, pretty surprised Thor gets a sequel. So are we going to get a new trilogy?" Honestly, with Taika, as long as Taika does the whole thing, I'm totally down for a new trilogy. I'm not sure, though. I think what Dragon just laid out about how this might be like an epilogue to the Thor movies and maybe an epilogue to like the old guard of the MCU in general. Kind of like a Toy Story 4 passing the torch type film. I mean, anything Taika directs at this point, like especially given the visuals that we're about to get into, I'm totally down for. I think Taika is like one of the few directors in the MCU that absolutely keeps his personal style intact, and Marvel lets him keep his personal style.
I mean, bare minimum, I think we want to see Taika get at least one more film, at least, to give him like his own personal trilogy, one could say. But I mean, honestly, it's the
give me a Korg trilogy.
Well, that's the thing, though. Honestly, what I think it would be going into is, and this is the thing people have been speculating on, like, is Jane Foster a one and done? Which I don't think so. I think if she's coming back,
I think it's going to be.
Yeah, going to be more of her, right?
No, my theory is that I think they're going to use the Jane Foster thing as. My theory on her is that she's going to be multiverse. And that, like you were saying about Thor having to deal with like all the weird changes coming to the MCU, I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, he's going to be grappling with the identity of like, oh, there's a lady Thor out there, and she's my love, but still, it's weird because this isn't my Jane Foster. I don't know.
So are you? Let me get this straight, Lisa. You're saying you think the lady Thor in this film is a multiverse?
Yes.
Remnant. Okay, that's what I wanted to confirm.
I'm saying, especially because of what you just laid out with like the old guard reacting to all the weird shit that's happening in the MCU. I really do think that this movie coming right after Multiverse of Madness, I do think that Lady Thor is like, I mean, I do think she's still going to be Jane Foster. You know, I don't think it's just going to be like a female version of Thor that just happens to be played by Natalie Portman. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I can explain myself enough, right? That's my theory. I could be totally wrong.
Okay, well, regardless, anyways,
It's just a theory.
Okay,
film theory. I'm sorry.
Okay, whichever Lady Thor you want to go with. My point is, my assumption is, now we know Chris Hemsworth has pretty much said, you know, he wants to stick around in the MCU, hence the reason we have more Thor before us now. I do wonder, could we have like a Lady Thor led kind of like trilogy, or if not trilogy, like she would be the lead of at least another movie, and then I don't know, we do something else with them. I'm saying, would you think she would stick around as our protagonist, whoever she is?
I really don't think so. I really think this is a one and done, but I don't know. Like I said, I could be totally wrong. I have no basis for the speculation. I just think that we're going to explore Lady Thor more as like a mirror to Thor and his character development rather than her own like standalone. Like, I don't know. I could be totally wrong about this.
All right. Okay. I guess let's get into it then. Let me pull up the old trailer. I'm going to put it on mute so we don't get in trouble.
Yes, especially because this is just literally like a pop song playing all the way through it.
Okay, here we go. And you're gonna keep an eagle eye out for the comments there.
Oh yeah. Tom B says, if I recall, Jane Foster got dusted at the end of Infinity War, so I wonder if it'll play a part in this character.
Well, that's the thing. Tiki's laid a really interesting theory that is may not be just the original, basically be our main
baseline Jane Foster.
Yeah, be like the 616. Let's call it a 616 Jane Foster,
mm-hmm.
Whatever. I forget. And it was like a different. I think it was technically a different name for it. But let's just say 616. Okay. Anyway, so here we have honestly my favorite. The trailer started strong.
I love this shot. I really do. I think it's very visually striking. I don't know, just something about it. The imagery, the music. It just flows together super well.
Well, this is why I want it, because man, Waititi knows how to give me what I want for, because he did this in the last movie and he did it full on here. I love Thor wearing the helmet, and not only that,
totally.
How could it get any better? Because Taika already gave us like a nice nod throwback to the helmet that we never remember in the first Thor movie. He shows up in the helmet, takes it off, never puts it on again.
Yep.
Ragnarok, we give him an equivalent to the helmet, looks awesome. And here we gave him the full-on helmet, and even better, he is in the full-on Jack Kirby outfit.
Yeah,
look at him. Look at him in all his glory.
Great.
It looks beautiful. Look at this. And it's like the blue tights and the yellow boots and everything. It looks great. It's like we're doing the Defenders thing. We're doing the old costume throw.
Yeah, it's kind of like back to phase one, like straight out of the comic look for sure.
Yeah, it's like what we did in the Loki with classic Lokis in the exact comic costume. This is amazing. So this is where all right, okay, I was already sold for the movie. This is where I'm absolutely sold on. I have to see this movie now. Anyways, but yeah, so we have like the life of Thor as he's kind of running through life as a boy. I assume as a teenager here, but it's kind of hard to tell because he does have the beard. At least it seems that he may or may not have the beard.
Considering Thor is hundreds of years old, we can kind of like say like he's a teenager as far as like God years go. That's kind of how I look at it. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I'm just saying it's kind of hard to tell if he has a beard or not with the helmet, so I don't know.
I took it as teenager, but some teenagers have full beards.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
By the time I was a senior, honestly.
No, I'm just saying Jack Kirby Thor didn't have a beard, which would make that like 100%. Oh my God, that's literally, it's anyways. And then we have assuming like Avengers era, like in the first like phase 1 Marvel era Thor with the sleeves and everything running through the forest here. See? Anyways, then we have kind of our new outfit here. He's got the fur too. They threw the fur on the guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
he's got a few looks in this. He's definitely got like an Asgardians of the Galaxy look that we'll get into.
We gave him at least 3 designs here, 3 new designs. So here we have this kind of like the fur, kind of like enhanced Thor, which is like one of the, I think like the Ultimate Thor had like fur or something, or they added that to some of the looks. Anyway, So Thor
Because Holland
running
Beef
through
says
time.
he never liked how they looked in Thor's Mightiest Heroes. Do you have anything, or Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Oh well, that's the thing. Earth's Mightiest Heroes Thor was the full-on, was essentially what we just saw, the Jack Kirby Thor. I mean, I really like that look. I don't know what he's done. I really, I really liked it.
He says, I love the Jack Kirby outfit over the MCU version. I never like how in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes they changed Thor's costume.
I forget it. That's the thing. I remember the first season of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I assume we're talking about the same one here, like the one from I believe 2012, basically around when the movie came out. They put out this very comics accurate looking Thor, and I don't know. I forget if he got a redesign the second season or not. He might have. I don't believe he did, but the point being, he looked like classic Thor, so I liked it anyway.
Oh,
I
all
don't know
right.
if he's talking about like the crappy animated ones that came after Earth's Mightiest Heroes that were basically like like the most diluted version of the MCU ever. It's like
Right.
it's like who added Bleach to the MCU? What happened here?
I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, just Marvel Animation had a really rough spot after the good stuff. After Wolverine the X-Men was all downhill.
Right.
Anyway, so here again, so this is Thor. This is an interesting idea here. So another thing that has me sold in this movie, and I mentioned this again, the whole kind of Thor reflecting having an identity
I
crisis.
really, really like it as a setup for sure.
I love this shot because it parallels Thanos planting the Scarecrow with his armor.
Well, I mean, once again, Dragon, pretty much from this shot onward, dare I say, pretty much every fucking image that we get in this trailer is like poster worthy.
Yeah, Waititi knows how to shoot a picture.
He
man.
really does, man.
These are some. Honestly, I'm gonna say is, but believe me now. Remember, Thor Ragnarok is kind of like a love letter to kind of like Kirby-esque imagery and also like Flash Gordon's. That's pretty much what Thor Ragnarok was. I did a great job at that. This just feels very, again, very godly and monolithic as you would want with a Thor film. Like the spaces are big. It feels very Walt Simonson-esque in how it looks, which is what you want with Thor.
Ramello, yeah, I absolutely think that this growing up montage is going to be the opening, maybe after a cold open of some kind. Maybe we get a cold open Marvel Cinematic Universe logo, then we go into the montage. But yeah, I think this montage is going to happen very early on for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking like this is kind of the end of the montage here, where at some point after after the opening scene with the Guardians, he's probably going to hang up the hammer, the Stormbreaker here for a second.
Right.
Also, to highlight too, one of the things that the Thor movie, since Waititi's taken over, that they have in their camp that the other MC movies don't really have, very colorful. Just want to shout that as much as I adore the MCU, the biggest problem they've ever had. Ever since roughly after, there are very few exceptions in which it works, most of them being in phase one. They always do that color correction thing where they kind of mute the colors, and the problem is they just kind of stylize that to be in all the films. Where
it's Waititi and James Gunn that get away from that.
Exactly, and then you have the occasions where it's fitting, like Endgame doesn't need a muted color palette.
Sure, yeah.
And of course, obviously, the Iron Man, like a Warzone, that needs to be muted, but then Captain Marvel does not need to be muted,
Right.
Okay, anyway, so the idea, it seems that Thor he's kind of hanging things up, and he's reflecting on who he is now that Endgame's over, and it's like, well, I handed over my kingdom to Valkyrie. I'm not wielding the hammer per se anymore, and Thanos is dead. Who am I? So let's see. Okay, so this is so I like that we're addressing one of the things I was kind of dreading in this. Like they're kind of teeing up like a kind of a romance film between him and Lady Thor potentially. They're not like saying 100% that's going to be it, but that's kind of the vibe that they've been getting with the Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
So one of the fears I had was like with the Fat Thor things. Oh god, we're gonna have that conventional scene where it's gonna be Jane making fat jokes or like Jane reacting. Let yourself go. So this kind of assuages my fears that it seems that
we're probably just gonna like evolve out of Fat Thor via montage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just want like that.
Yeah,
we're gonna get rid of it at the opening. It seems with this, like
it looks like it. Yeah.
Now, importantly though, with the arc, and a lot of people always like just jump to why we make him fat. Where again, folks, the fat is sadness and depression, which is also kind of a fun like reversal. Like, hey, all of our male action heroes in the Marvel movies have to be like action figure shaped. They always got to be. There's have to be like written to their contract one shirtless scene, so we got to inject them and do whatever we do with them to put them in, like turn Paul Rudd into the sexiest man alive for this year. So that's that sort of thing where again, there was a fun subversion. Oh my god, we made the biggest beefcake, more cake than beef in Endgame. So that's kind of funny that we did that. But again, it also remarked on like, oh man, he's really eating his feelings away after what happened with Thanos. So a lot of people always kind of just want the jokes versus the sadness, and I like what we're doing here is that okay, he's emotionally healing right now, so he's losing the weight, he's getting back in shape. He's again kind of Thor mind and body back to hey, look here, he's in the Ravager gear. And there's a good look on him, by the way, with the Ravager vest.
Yeah, I like it for sure.
So I'm assuming like Act 1, like probably top of the movie, we're gonna basically have to write the Guardians out as soon as we can, and this is gonna be how we're gonna do it. Like I imagine, Thor's gonna be at the battle, and he's not gonna be much help, and it's like Thor, what's wrong with you, man? It's like I get my head
yeah, totally.
And that's basically gonna be
dragging down the team.
So I think honestly, my theory
see that.
My theory on what's happening, in this scene here is that the Guardians of the Galaxy are kind of like between, Endgame and Guardians 3, and probably before the Christmas special. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if Chris Hemsworth is going to be in the Christmas special this year or not, but let's just say that they're like on missions along their search for Gamora. Like all this is probably in service of we got to find Gamora. Because you'll notice Gamora is not in any of these shots.
Yeah, sure.
Also, we're giving Mantis stuff to do. We gave her a big gun. Just going to point that out because Mantis is always like the biggest handicap. And like when you see Endgame, they're all running towards each other. Like, what's Mantis going to do?
Ramilla, that's the interesting thing with Loki is that I could have sworn that Loki was announced to be in this movie. But then the more I think about it, it's like they've got the TV show with the big cliffhanger that I don't like because it just kind of stifles what we can do with him.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in this movie. But,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I know from what I understand, Matt Damon's going to be Loki. Coming back as the fake Loki. So I mean, in that respect, Loki's going to. It might have been coy when they said, "Hey, Loki's going to be in the movie." It's going to be Matt Damon.
I
don't know. Anyway, so again, we have kind of the Guardians here, and just kind of Thor probably. I guess what I'm saying. This shot here makes me think, Thor, stop getting in the way.
Right.
This is where Thor's probably going to have his introspection and bury the hammer in that scene earlier we just saw. That's what I'm thinking. Again, the Guardians drop him off because we can't put him in the whole movie. And look, it's going to be him and his buddy Korg. So this is
I really hope that Korg has a lot of screen time.
I think he will.
I really hope it's like a buddy adventure movie.
I mean, later on when we have like the whole gang together, Korg is still there. So I'm thinking Korg is going to be, he's going to be part of the main cast the whole movie. All right, so also this is I assume what's going to happen if I'm a betting man, I'm a speculatory sort, which I sometimes am. So we're in kind of the Asgardian kind of Norse floating.
New Asgard.
Yep, we're in New Asgard, and these are from the comics. Apparently, Thor had these like flying goats that were his pals. And essentially, I imagine he's going to go to New Asgard. He's going to say, "Hey, Valkyrie, I need a ship so I can go find myself an adventure." Or most likely, "Hey, so we can stop Gore the God Butcher. You want to come along? I'm bored here. Yeah, let's do that." She gets into the ship with him here, and you can kind of see Valkyrie on the ship, I think. So yeah, point being that I think it's how we're going to get there. Flying shot. They're our mode of transportation. No idea who this lady with the blue hair is.
I have no idea who she is, but I really, really like this shot, though.
Yeah, it's very sick.
I like this shot just because it's so unconventional for a Marvel movie. Like, it looks like the kind of, like, adventure novel romance cover or romance adventure novel cover that Lost City was parodying.
Yeah,
and I really like that. I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is like I don't know. Like, this shot probably intrigues me more than most other shots in the movie, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Hemsworth could easily be the new Fabio for so many women, I'd imagine.
Totally.
Yeah. Wonder how he feels about that. You ever wonder how Chris Hemsworth feels about, the whole idolized by all the women and everything sort of thing?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Did you know about the Fabio getting hit by a goose on a roller coaster thing?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is on my bucket list, I will admit. And the coaster that he got hit on is one of the best coasters in that park.
Okay, now look at this. Look at how happy
this is a great look. This is a great look, yeah.
He's just so darn. Look, see how healthier he is now from when he was in Endgame. He's well adjusted. He's looking into the stars, full of adventures. He got Stormbreaker creating like a rainbow bridge portal. Also, new armor. Looks like I got the blue in there, the blue and the yellow and the red. I mean, I gotta see. I wish I could kind of see it in full without like a spoilery kind of toy image, but still, this looks really nice. Okay, I believe we are in Olympus here, as we have Zeus catching the lightning bolt, and this is Russell Crowe, by the way.
Oh man,
it's a little hard that you're kind of building up the reveal there, but that's
perfect casting.
So my theory as to the plot here, I think it's just going by the bad guy's name, Gore the God Butcher. I'm imagining Gore's going around killing gods from all sorts of realms, not just like Asgardian, but also not just Norse gods, but Greek gods, and that's. Basically, I think Thor's going to learn.
We're going to see like Hades and oh man, that'd be wild.
I know one person we got. If we're going to bring in Zeus, there's one character, like one Marvel character we have to bring in. We have to bring in Hercules. You remember the Marvel version of Hercules, don't you?
I can't say that I do. No.
Yeah, that could be a fun one. That one that Watiti could very easily, bring in. So we'll see how that one goes. But regardless, so that's what I'm saying. I think it's simply, Thor. He's gonna he's trying to find himself. He's gonna get wind of the Gore the God Butcher character. He's gonna say, "Hey, Valkyrie, you want to join Korg and me as we try to stop the God Butcher?" You're gonna run into Lady Thor, and they're gonna go to some gods, probably our Greek gods here, and try like, "Hey, let's work together and stop the Gore the God Butcher." It's probably gonna lead to shenanigans.
I'll throw out another theory here. That's again just baseless speculation. What if the plot gets kicked into high gear by Thor stopping an assassination attempt on Zeus?
Well, that could be good too. That could work. I mean, I think it'd be refreshing. I'm not saying this would be a deal, but it'd be refreshing if we didn't do the whole thing of like, oh, puny as guardian gods, we were so much better than you, and it's like, let's fight you for a spell there until, oh god, Gore the God Butcher is a real thing. Let's work together.
Okay, Atomic Beast. It's actually really funny that you mentioned James Woods playing Hades because I've actually had in my sick little head of mine, like I do think that he would make a good live action Hades. I just think with his politics these days, I don't think Disney would want to touch him with a 10-foot pole, unfortunately.
Seriously, how great an actor is James Woods, though?
He's great. He's great.
A little boisterous with the thumbs, but
I don't know. Honestly, like, give me Patrick Page Hades because he played Hades on Broadway, just a different version.
So again, this is probably Thor and Korg learning about Gore the God Butcher. So the idea is this is a god, Tiki, and this is what Gore is just butchering.
Okay, this is... I mean, I know we raved about the intro monologue, or the intro montage, I'm sorry. This is the definition of like heavy metal album cover Taika Waititi art here. I love this imagery.
I'm just saying, like, we're building up Gore the God Butcher to be so metal. Look at what he just killed.
Totally.
Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. All right. So let's see. And also, this is a really sweet. Again, there's New Asgard, which now is kind of a tourist attraction.
I'd like that. I'd like that idea.
New Asgard tours. Bus there. So you're the tourists that are kind of exploring the place. Oh my God, there's some cruise ships too. Look at that.
Oh my God.
See that?
That's going to be Disney's next immersive cruise.
Now that would actually be a good one, though. Okay, now coming up, I'm going to show it to you. I don't think it's in this scene. I think you'll see him in a second here. The idea is it's probably like kind of like a committee meeting about like this new Asgard being a tourist. Basically, mundanity that Valkyrie's going to have to deal with being the king.
Okay, I just say I love Valkyrie just in the mundane office. I live for this. I live for this look. This is great.
Now look to the right of screen, Tiki.
Look to the
right. It's okay. Meek the Bug in a suit.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You see? So we see where Korg's going. Meek's stuck doing the paperwork.
Oh, dude!
They put him in a suit. And not just
get out of here,
Tiki! Not just the suit. They put him in a fancy suit. Look at that! Look at that tie. That's a fancy suit.
Oh my God! Oh, okay, that right there. Just like Meek being Valkyrie's little office assistant. Oh my God.
A fancy suit. He's got a fancy tie. Look at that.
All right, I'm sorry, folks. Dragon and I are big Korg and Meek fans.
Yep. So again, the idea of Valkyrie very, very bored here and just like probably fed. Yeah, that's what I imagine. That's why she's going on the journey of like, yes, anything to get me out of here.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So again, this is see, look at this. This is the four of them in Olympus. So there's the two Thors,
Yeah, yeah,
assumedly Valkyrie, and there's Korg.
right.
So he's still in the picture. Also,
The Korg stays in the picture.
yeah. All right, so seriously, this is a sweet bit from Peter Quill here.
Okay,
about,
I've watched this trailer about 5 times today. Every time I do, I can't help but crack up at the Hemsworth, just how earnest Hemsworth looks when he does that scoot into the camera. That right there, oh my god! There's just something about the timing on this dragon that just freaking cracks me up, and just how like look at those look at those baby blue eyes, dragon.
I wonder if he got like a new.
He looks like a fucking puppy in this shot.
I wonder if his eye is healed or he's got like a new robotic eye because the eyes are the same color this time. Yeah, but seriously, I really love that, Peter Quill's giving him some nice parting advice.
I love that it's great sentiment, and it's also like really funny at the same time. Like that's Taika Waititi's style in a nutshell. I think
it's something I believe Quill would say from what he's learned about everything. If you ever feel lost, just look into the eyes of the people you love, and then you'll find yourself again. Essentially, which again, it's a question of like Peter Quill. There's some disdain for Thor for sure, but I think deep down there's like, he's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like, okay, no, not me.
Oh my god, he's got a jacket. Is he trying to emulate Peter's look? He's totally trying to emulate Peter's look.
Well, remember, he's got the Ravagers gear on the ship. That's what they all kind of wear.
So okay, what if in the first act he's like basically trying to be another Star-Lord?
Well, remember, that was kind of the gag at the end of Endgame, the whole, he's going to try and run the team, it seems. Here's the thing. I don't mind that so long as Quill ultimately is successful. That's the thing. So long as if it plays the way I think this trailer is going to play it, where like Thor's like, he's all talk, he's not really helpful in the battle, with the Guardians, like he just kind of conflicts with their style. He's kind of a solo act. Yeah, but no, I like that. He's absolutely aping kind of the Peter Quill look here with like, like kind of the vest and the t-shirt.
Yeah.
I do think there is a danger in too much. I think it's a good idea to split them up in this movie because too much of like Thor and Peter Quill that gag's only going to work for so long. Okay, and we have our fancy titles, and then we have our money shot, which is not the God Butcher, but something even cooler. We got Mjolnir being held by Lady Thor.
And you know what? I'm going to admit this looks a lot better than I was expecting it to, just as far as like it looking like a natural like part of the MCU.
So real cool. Something we should highlight here is really cool. This was speculated on, but are now seeing it's absolutely confirmed. This is a really cool symbolic idea. So Mjolnir has been this is the original. It's been reassembled. You can tell by all the cracks and everything from when Hela smashed it to smithereens. Now, again, symbolically, it's Thor putting the pieces of himself back together, not just with the hammer, but Jane perhaps being a missing piece to himself. Because we saw when he lost Jane Foster, and going to Ragnarok, think about it. Jane lost Jane, and then he kind of systematically lost everything else in his life. So Jane is kind of a missing piece for him. And we saw how in shambles he was in Endgame. Like, oh, yes, I introduced Jane to my mother. And then everything went bad for me.
God.
So, yeah. And again, I remember even in What If, just, Thor and Jane Foster, man, you love those two crazy kids together. I mean, it was always like some BS. Like, really? Did we have to throw in, like, Chris O'Dowd at the top of Thor the Dark World? Couldn't we just, have them be together? But, I don't know. So, anyway. But regardless, Lady Thor, it's a big event. A lot of people are excited for it. And again, I'm hoping there's going to be some stay power or something. I hope at least she's going to be around or even if she's not around for more movies, I hope she's going to reappear in perhaps like the next big crossover because it just feels so weird to me. Like, hey, Natalie Portman, can you come by for Endgame? No, just use the stock footage. Yet, hey, I'm coming back for Lady Thor. Because you've offered me a better role. It's like, well, yeah, but you couldn't come back for like the bit part even. You couldn't give us like 5 minutes. And you want to come back for the big money? Like, really?
I mean,
So,
I don't know though. I mean, that kind of stuff is why I do think that this might be a one-off. Like she does seem distanced from the MCU. I don't know. Again, I could be wrong. I'm basing this on literally nothing except baseless speculation. But
all I know is if any director's gonna have a shot at turning the whole Jane Foster thing around and making it work and doing like Lady Thor proper,
you want to switch back to the thumbnail?
Good idea.
Okay, thank you.
So my point is the only way that idea is going to work and you're really going to make it sing in the current status of the MCU status of the MCU. It's going to be Taika Waititi who's going to be able to get that done. That's the guy you're going to want for this. No, don't give me any unnamed directors like, hey, we just kind of toss it to somebody. No, give me someone who actually knows what they're doing with Thor and can actually visualize that well and actually might be able to get an actor excited about coming back to that role. I believe Waititi could get Natalie Portman excited for that role enough to come back. So I think there's a possibility that we could really turn things around there. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm just going to go over some comments here. Sure. B-Wolf says he's getting some gay vibes from, I guess, from the Peter Quill and Thor stuff, but I don't know. I think you're reading a little bit too much into that.
I think it might be ultimately, I think it might have grown into a one-sided bromance where,
yeah, for sure. I mean,
Peter Quill was like envious. He was a little envious of Thor. He wasn't really loving the guy. He was like, okay, this guy's kind of stepping on my territory. I'm a little threatened right now. And then on the flip side, it seems like perhaps Thor has like unconditional love for Peter Quill.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of gay subtext.
I'm thinking one-sided bromance. So like, again, I wouldn't go into
Chaos Cast said he blames Tumblr. That's totally fair. That's absolutely fair.
To be fair, who hasn't anyone shipped with anyone else on Tumblr?
Right.
It's literally like a Tumblr of names. Let's shake them up and see who gets attached to the other person there. Let's just run with it.
All right. Let's see. Tom B says, when I think about this Gamora, I really hope we don't have the Guardians accept it like she's the same person. This is an entirely different character. Yeah, I agree. I think once we do get the search for Gamora or whatever Guardians 3 is, I do think that it'd be cheap of them to be like, hey, you're a Gamora, so you're our Gamora. So we'll see how that plays out.
I'm really hoping that even if that's the case, like she'll grow to like Peter Quill because it's gonna be. But then again, it might just add to the loss. So like, well, yeah, he's never gonna get that back again.
I
don't know.
Let's see, and then finally, Romello says, "What if the final battle took place on New Asgard?"
Well, so long as it doesn't get destroyed again, because we can only destroy Asgard so many times. These poor people, they keep getting decimated.
I think if we do have a battle on New Asgard, it'd probably be like if this is theoretically the start of a new trilogy, it'd probably be in the last movie.
I don't know. I wonder if it would be like Olympus, Colosseum, Battle of the Gods type stuff. I don't know.
I think Olympus is more likely. I think most of the movie is going to be on Olympus, but
I'm just saying with the God Butcher, it's going to be like amongst gods. So I'm thinking Olympus is probably the easiest way to go with that.
Sure. All right, that's it for comments. Any last thoughts, Dragon?
I mean, again, this it was kind of a surprise to get it this early because I forgot, like, oh god, it's only 2 months away. No wonder we're getting trailers for it now.
Yeah, this is actually kind of technically late.
Yeah, well, then again, I'm thinking, I'm hoping this doesn't backfire. I'm hoping it's not going to be, hey, we threw that Thor movie at you because we got another movie coming at you in November. No, we don't.
Right.
Oh god, folks, I want Black Panther 2 to come out. I just don't want to get my hopes up. Like, hey, it's going to come out, and then nope. Got moved to February.
It's like the South Park meme, and it's down.
Yeah, just that's what I'm afraid of with like the coming this soon. But think about it. June we got Lightyear, and then in July we got Thor: Love and Thunder. Wow. Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's actually a pretty decent year for movies all around. So,
oh, for sure. Plus, we have like Black Adam and I believe Shazam too. So it's still rather packed.
All right. So, yeah, this was a pretty good night for comments. So I'd like to thank Chaos Cat, Romello Malone, and Atomic Beast for joining us. And Have a good night, everyone. Like I said, this week will be pretty much all Better Call Saul all the time because of the premiere. We have to do 2 episodes and the Ride Storman on it. So, yeah, get ready for that because the next few days is pretty much going to be all Saul. So,
it's all Saul.
Most of the time on this channel, I don't like to devote a big chunk of time to one thing, but you know what?
Folks, we went a year without Better Call Saul. Okay, we have to make up for it somehow. Okay, so get over it.
All right. On that note, get over it, folks. Have